Bonjour, Mr. Holden here. I'm just making this video to go over the worksheet that you got on the ER verbs. There are some students that missed classes. There are some students who maybe needed to get the lesson reviewed. And although the lesson is taped and back in the resource room, this video that specifically goes over the ER verbs for the coming week so that everyone is confident and sure about what personal pronouns are and ER verbs and how they're conjugated. I know that all sounds rather complicated, but really we're just going to be covering the basics, and we will find that very helpful as the students go through and learning their French. So the first thing that one needs to know is that there is, of course, the homework page. I'm just going to use my trusty laser pointer here to point out that the homework page is always in the room when somebody comes in, and you can always go to it and look at it. And if you go to first person view up here and just go to this first person view, you can come right up close to it and see whatever is there. And there is a scroll bar over to this side, so if you just hold that down, you can scroll down to the bottom and see what the latest homework is. But probably the most valuable place to go for anyone is to go to the student homework page right over here. And if we click on that sign, it'll bring up on the right hand side a web page. Now if that web page doesn't show up for some strange reason, just go up to where it says show, click on show, and go down to where the tabs are, and make sure that the tabs is checked. And either that, or you can use the F9 key to toggle it on or toggle it off. But it is on right now, and having clicked on it, if you just mouse over the left side of it and then click your left button, you can pull it across. And of course, if you're on a Mac and using left buttons is a little bit more complicated because maybe you don't have a mouse, although I'd highly advise it. There are information links not only in the homework page but over here on the right of the board that will help you to figure out how to right and left click with a Mac mouse or with the trackpad as well. Anyway, I'm just going to pull this across so that you can see down at the very bottom, and I'm just scrolling with my mouse button right now, is our week 3. And you can see that an ER worksheet, verb worksheet, has been assigned. So as I click on that, you'll see it comes up. And you can print it out for practice, but you can also download it. And when you download it to your desktop, let's just say, you should be able to work with it there. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'll replace that, and I should be able to go right into it on my desktop and edit it, and then save that and email it back to gholden@onlineschool.ca. Now that's all in there, but what I want to do is I'm just going to bring it up and I'm going to go through the worksheet itself just so there's no confusion. Okay, so the person's name and the date needs to go up here. And verbs, ER verbs, are action words, and this we're asking in this section for translations. So the first word, I gave an example, parler in French is to talk in English. So we need translations for commencer, adorer, regarder, chanter, danser, sauter, voter. All of these ER verbs are in the Telefrancais video, which you can click on the Telefrancais videos over here to the right of the screen, or in the homework page to bring those up. And we have gone through those in class, but if you just go through the Telefrancais videos, there can be no doubt in anyone's mind about what those words are in English. Ce n'est pas difficile, as Anana would say. Now, if you're unsure of what conjugations are, it's just the putting together of two different things. And on the left here we have personal pronouns. So elle and il which is the feminine and the masculine of he or she. So if you're going to say that he talks or she talks, it'd be il parle for he talks, or elle parle for she talks. But if you've noticed what's happened to the verb parler, they've dropped the er and added an e. Okay, and in every case, you drop the er and add something to it. In the case of je, the personal pronoun for I speak becomes je parle. You speak, the personal pronoun tu is the familiar for you, and it would be tu parles, and you'll notice in this case that the er is dropped and es is added. Over to vous, which is the formal form of you. So students might use that with a teacher, or principal, or parents, somebody else's parents. With their own parents, they might use tu. And in this case, parler has the er dropped and ez is added. For we, the personal pronoun we, it is nous in French. And when you put that together with parler, you drop the er and add ons. The personal pronoun for they, if it's all girls, is elle with an s at the end, and il with an s at the end for masculine. Now, il also applies to a mixed group as well. And if you notice, the s isn't pronounced. But if it was added to a verb that began with a vowel, it would be pronounced. But because there's a consonant there, it's not pronounced. So you'll see that in some of the examples that are given in some of the videos that I recommend for students to review this week. In this case, it's elle parle, and it's just ent at the end. Now, just moving down to another translation. This is from straight out of Télé Français with the Les Squelettes in Télé Français 2. Nous chantons pour vous. What is this saying? It's just writing out in English. Nous, one only needs to look up above. Chanter, one only needs to refer to the er verbs that are in the video. And pour vous, this is for, and obviously for you. So I'm almost translating the whole thing for you. The only question is about chanter, and again, looking at the er verb, chanter, this now has ez at the end. So what's inferred here, if you look at the ez at the end, is that it's you do this with us. Okay, so avec is with. And I probably have given you more information than I needed to, but I will go down below now. Elle commence becomes elle commence. You drop the er, add an e. Il, what you need to do is write this out here. So it will be il, and the parler is conjugated by dropping the er and adding what? One only needs to look above. Same goes with vous adorez, tu chanter, elle saute, which is also in the video, and il vote. Now your own conjugations. Down here, what I want you to do is to pick an er verb, any er verb, and put it with elle, but it needs to be typed out or written out with the proper conjugation. So if you were to choose elle vote, it would not be voter. You would drop the er and add, well, whatever is appropriate. And that, of course, is up above on the sheet. So I don't think that this should be too difficult to do. It's not easy to remember necessarily, so we will be reviewing it over and over and over again. And if you don't get it the first time, don't be too worried, because we're going to review it plenty of times. Well, thank you very much for paying attention to this video, and I hope that you'll find it helpful in completing this ER verb sheet. Thank you. Bye for now. Au revoir.